Hi guys, so I just wanted to respond to this comment about asking me if I'm pro-dystopian. Now I did actually comment on it, but I think it needs a deep analysis to really understand what I mean. So yes, short answer, I am pro-dystopian. Now I'm going to explain to you why. So I bet everyone has debate about, is a utopia possible? And if you think it is, well, you're wrong. A utopia literally, if you search up the meaning, it literally means a false hope. Like, it's not, it could never be real. It's just an ideal to aspire to make people think. Like the state of nature. There's no way to actually prove it. It's just a way to broaden your mind and think about it. So what I mean as pro-dystopia is that if you ever movies, books, certain things, I'm not meaning 1984, but dystopian plots where the people think they're in a utopia, and until they look closer, they realize that they're in a dystopia. So I would want a world that kind of envision that, but that people know that it's a dystopia, but it's the closest thing we could achieve to utopia. That's what I believe. A dystopia is the closest thing we will ever receive to utopia. So again, my view, if you've never heard it before, I'm just going to go over it. It's a world government with augmented democracy, and it will have no money, but it will be a mix of Hobbesian and Marxism, where I believe in Thomas Hobbes' state of nature, which is don't know what state of nature means. It's just a theoretical view of what the world was before civilization. Of course, we will never know this, because even today, there are tribes and they have a sort of structure. So in this, Thomas Hobbes' view is that the state of nature was chaos, which is why you hear it referred to international law, because international law is chaos, which is why I believe we need a world government. But anyways, it's everybody's just in chaos, nobody trusts each other, it's a horrible world. Because I do, and it is based on personal experiences and the time you're in. Hobbes was during the Reformation, he was during horrible times, just like we are now. So his theory formed that. Unlike another one that is kind of the verses, and what a lot of people like is John Locke. And John Locke's theory is that people were more peaceful, but instead everyone was the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury. And the defense also. So then you had your own plot of land that you kept, and if someone invaded, you could do whatever you want with no responsibilities. You just don't go to other people's lands, because then you have to deal with their rules. And that's also what inspired America, the United States, because they got off of a theory of like life, liberty, and security. That is from Life, Liberty, and Pursuit of Happiness is from John Locke. And John Locke also believed in a limited government, kind of like like libertarians. And so that's what and I think his experiment failed, because look at the United States. Yes, it's one of the wealthiest and most powerful nations in the world. No one can dispute that. I'm not saying that. But they have the worst quality of living they're ranked, now the UN has ranked them as a developing country in their human rights and things like that. There was even, I'm not sure if you know this, but when Medicare came about, there was this man that sued the government that he had to put taxes towards Medicare. He didn't want it. He refused it. Of course, he lost. But that's the freedom. That's the sense of freedom that America has in a limited government. And I believe that just doesn't work out. I think it's proved that it does not work and that it's faulty. And yes, I'm not saying I don't like freedom. I love freedom. I love freedom of speech. I think people should be able to express what they want. And I love violent video games. I love all that stuff. When I say these things, it's not like I don't like it. Like, I know I'm a narcissist, but I'm trying to improve it. I know my thoughts may be dark sometimes, but I'm trying to improve it. And that's what I think what some of the people don't understand is this is not what I want, but this is what I think the world needs and what I need as well. So I think everybody needs is to get away from our primal instinct. Like, I don't know why everyone wants to go back to nature and the way animals are. Like, we are highly intellectual beings. We have destroyed nature and made our own thing. We live with highways crossing. There's no reason for these highways are just for transporting to get faster to places, destroying land and all that. We've conquered Earth in a sense, human beings, from the animals. Now there is some fight back, of course, but we still win. And so what I'm saying is that we should not be being like animals. We should be better than animals, which means we have to go against our instincts, and hopefully along the way that evolves humanity. I'm not meaning like, not sure because of Orwell, but like this evolved consciousness. I don't believe it's going to happen biologically. I believe it will happen through automation, like neural implants, and that's what I believe is the singularity, like where we go with human and mechanics, and we become and then we'll also become a collective consciousness, like a hive mind. I think that's what's best, because then the whole point, and a lot of psychological studies, are about how unified we can become. And that's also why I love my culture. I love other cultures. I think they're so interesting. And yes, they provide, there's also a lot of comments I've seen, like, well, you should go visit other countries. It's so beautiful, and it makes the world a better place. But it doesn't. What people don't realize is that cultures only formed in tribe societies was because we couldn't all care for each other, so we had to separate into different tribes and different cultures, and communication was so hard to get to, and like ships and stuff, it took so long for the discovery of North America. So that's what I mean by, like, this was only because we weren't developed enough to be globally. So I believe if there is a creator, which I highly doubt, their plan for us, and I think it's what our plan should be, is that we go away from these, like, we all know race and gender is a social construct. There's not really any biological proof. And people say, I will die for my country. And you're just going into what was a primal thing for us to get together. So I believe these nation states are primitive, and that we need to evolve beyond it to world government. And I think that's what globalization is. What it was for was to hoping for all of us to be connected. And it's also what I think Marx and Lenin, I think they really didn't expect, was how capitalism could evolve and keep itself together. Because now, instead of talking about changing the system, be like, we should improve it, because this is how we're supposed to be. But it's not. We're trying to go more accountable. The thing is, in a perfect capitalist society like the United States, it's horrible. It only cares about profit, and it doesn't care about other people and the environment. And if we go down this route, and we stay down this route, and we don't change, we are either gonna die from nuclear holocaust, because as you can see today, as Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, we are at the brink. Because the United States after World War II, of course, because they didn't fight till the last 2 years, like in World War I, so of course they were able to rise to the top, because no one else could defeat them, because they were recovering. And then it was two things of Russia, the Soviet Union, and the United States, and all the Western Allies, or East versus West as it was called. And now, there's all these powers, like 2050 global superpowers, China, India, all this stuff. It's going to cause nuclear holocaust, or because we only care about profit, we're going to die because of climate change, because we don't care about the world. So that's what I mean by we need a dystopian society.